This month we have it all. We have new cycles, we have completion of really hard cycles, we have romance, we have dating, we have creativity, we have a big yes for whatever you're asking, we have sudden fated events, we have even some engagement, marriage, and stuff that you've waited a long time for. Let's get into the May 2024 reading by So on this first row, we have Ace of Swords, Ten of Wands, and Knight of Cups. Ace of Swords is the start of a new idea. I always think of the Ace as a field of potential. It's breakthroughs. It's what we have been waiting for. If you've been feeling like your tires are spinning, like ideas are just stuck in your head, this is the breaking through of that. While collectively there still will be a lot of perhaps violence and tumult, if you think of everything as a kind of arc, we're in the really messy part of a lot of global arcs, but we've crossed a threshold. May, if you think of it as its own little arc, is really joyful. So something that you might have to grapple with this month is the feeling of individual success in the foreground of collective grief. And that is not easy, but I do want you to consider that you deserve to be joyful. And actually that, joy truly is an act of resistance. So let's talk about what I see happening on this top row. Ace of Swords, Ten of Wands, and Knight of Cups. So the month of May is going to bring a lot of innovation. It's also probably going to bring finally a yes for something that you've been trying to figure out. Like if you have thought, I want to start a YouTube channel, but each month this year you've kind of been like, I just can't be bothered. I don't know how to function as a human at the moment. That anxiety is going to be lifted off of you. Also just want to note that I do these readings. Yes, I use the cards, but they're more like mile markers. I use a lot of intuition and I pepper in some astrology, but this is definitely not an astrology account. I bring that up because I will say the astrology of May is much better than anything we've experienced actually in a really long time. Really fortuitous and exciting time. So if any ideas of yours have been stagnant and you've needed to figure out how to get them going again, that clarity is going to come to you this month. Ten of Wands is very much about the end of a cycle. It's you having carried all the bags across the finish line and now getting to a point where finally you can put your bags down. And this could be somebody coming in to take these bags from you, because Knight of Cups is about creativity, romance. In astrology, it makes me think of the fifth house. And it's a top row of new ideas, burdens being unburdened, and creativity, romance, and childlike wonder, which is something that we need. Second row, we have King of Wands, King of Cups reversed, and Knight of Wands. So King of Wands, I keep forgetting that the light is over here, by the way, so that shouldn't be that hard for me. Anyway, King of Wands is somebody in a leadership position creatively. This is somebody that is not afraid to speak out, that is very revered within creative environments, and is in a position to now lead people. It's like you've built your empire and now you're going to be able to bring other people into the fold. Conversely, this could be somebody that's ready to finally bring you into a project. I'm seeing a lot of signed contracts this year, this month, a lot of giving your flowers, being recognized in the field that you deserve recognition in. King of Cups reversed is sometimes can be, our emotions being out of whack. It can be like emotional manipulation. But in the context of this, I actually think this is giving us a self-care moment. This is talking about how, so King of Wands, you're a leader, you're in this position of leadership, people are admiring you, you're firing on all cylinders. And then King of Cups reversed is kind of like you're out of your feelings a bit. Like you're not thinking as much with your heart right now. You're thinking a little bit more with your brain and with your gut, which is what is needed for this month, because then Knight of Wands, we have basically a green light for creative projects and anything that stalled for a long time. So if you have applied and not received a job or a grant, or even like if you've maybe you've gone back on dating apps but you haven't matched with the people that you want to match with, just keep going. This is definitely a month of continuing to try. A lot of times I will tell you to go to sleep, to meditate, to be as still as possible. This month, I think it's really important to think about how prayer is 50-50. And this month, we are going to the parties. We are going to the protests. We are downloading the apps. We are socializing. We are going to have the energy for it this month. So I want you to really utilize it so that it can sort of bleed into the rest of your year. Have the Wheel of Fortune and Four of Wands. So Wheel of Fortune is about how quickly everything moves. It's about being in a moment either of joy or tragedy and remembering that it will pass no matter what, and that everything has to, which I know is grim and of course, like paired with everything that we are already seeing on our screens every day. That seems like a really morbid mentality, but it's more like, again, getting into your head a little bit more and not using your heart quite as much. Now you can do things that are in line with your moral compass, but you also need to be logical about like paying your bills and also like about what you actually need to do to accomplish these things that you've set out to do. I'm in the middle of creating this. Right now it's just for me, it's just to help me, but creating this manifestation program, I guess, that trying to get to like what we're not being for real with ourselves about. And it's about kind of examining what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. I've come up with something in your head, that's because that's what's meant for you. This is how I think of it. I think of your inner being having made an agreement with your soul here on earth that is like, hey, we're gonna remind you that this is what you're meant for by giving you an insatiable thirst for this thing, or an insatiable desire for this accomplishment or award or marriage or goal. And the catch is going to be that you actually have to forget about it and detach from it. And it's going to be fun. So this month is about like, I mean, I don't want to encourage like obsessive thinking about it, but it's more just, are you actually drinking the water? Are you actually moving your body? Are you, if you want to be an artist, are you practicing your craft? If you want to be a screenwriter, are you writing every day? If you want to be, whatever it is, right? Insert accordingly. But the Wheel of Fortune is a reminder that things happen very quickly. And you need to be for real about whether or not, if you got a call right now, hey, we're ready for you on this tour. Hey, hey, you're going to meet your soulmate tomorrow. And you can't meet him. You know, we can't put it off any longer. He's going to knock on your door with a bouquet of flowers tomorrow. Are you scrambling to like make space for them in your home? Are you like panicked now about what everything looks like? Like, just make sure that things in your life reflect what you want. And I know that every single person that talks about manifestation talks about this, and I think it's talked about in such an inaccessible way that makes me so frustrated. Kind of like the be for real manifestation method, which is just like, you want to make money, what are you spending your money on? I don't mean to be like, well, if you hadn't bought all that avocado toast, you could probably buy a house now. I don't mean that. I just mean like, are you actually taking care of yourself? Are you doing what you, ideal you, would be doing? And that's how the timelines merge, right? Like that's how it happens, because that is what it means to just live in. But anyway, I'll talk more about this method. Well, I'll talk about it in a few months when I'm like, look, it worked. Look at all this stuff. For now, I'm so grateful for everything I have. And the Wheel of Fortune is basically like, hey, you can get this call at any given moment. Will you actually be ready to receive the call? You think that, you're calling us and that the line's busy. That's not true. We've actually been trying to call you back for years. So keep that in mind this month. Just be prepared in the best way possible. Like, be prepared to be able to say yes to a random beach trip or party, or, have a change of clothes in your car. Just be prepared to have fun. I think that's the adult way of doing it. Just, flying by the seat of your pants and having an extra pair just in case. So then we have Four of Wands, which is a card about graduation, marriage. It's usually like a legally binding situation, but it's very joyous. Four is a very foundational number, so it's about something that kind of changes who you are, as a legal contract does. And again, it's next to the Wheel of Fortune card. So this is saying, like, sure, you may have, maybe you've been looking for love for a decade. Well, that changes in one meet cute, right? Like that changes in 1 second. That changes with one introduction. Those gigs come in one email, in one text. It's because it's a foundational number, I feel like saying it's there. Like you don't have to do any work to get to it. It's just there. You just have to literally get in line with it and remember that it can happen so quickly. A lot of what's been stalling us for the last several years is a lot of stuff that we can't control outwardly. A lot of kind of, everybody being forced to be shut in for so long, and then that perpetuating a lot of selfishness and fear, and now we're seeing all of that come to a head, right? We're seeing people reacting. People have been tied down for too long. People have been bound for too long. Now everybody is most people are seeking liberation. And this, while it's a collective idea, is also one, maybe it's more important to accomplish your own liberation, because without that, you can't free anybody else. Airplane oxygen mask situation. But just know that this month is going to be really, I just keep seeing the image of fireworks. And last month, I actually, this was an accident, but it didn't get uploaded to YouTube. And then I was like, I kept trying to do it and it wouldn't go. And I was like, you know what? It was such a negative reading. My Patreon members got it, but that I just was like, I don't know that this will be productive for a lot of people to hear right now. Which is not to say that I'll ever fake it or sugarcoat a reading, but it is to say that, like, I felt like I was beating a dead horse. Like, I wasn't really saying anything that people didn't already know. This month, though, is really, really positive, and I'm really excited about it. And even that, if I'm being really honest with you, makes me feel a bit fearful, because I am pretty chronically optimistic, and I know a lot of you guys are too. And that when your belly's exposed to the universe all the time, it's not uncommon to get hurt or to feel wounded. And I think that is partly why so many of us had to retreat and have had to retreat for so long. But now it's time to kind of take our newfound education around liberation and spirituality and governments and all. So all of that to say that we end with the Hanged Man. Man is about having waited a really, really long time for something. So I definitely see this month being wish fulfillment heavy. And I say that really confidently, especially for anybody watching. If you found this and if you're watching it at all, then I really think a lot of good is headed your way, and I hope it is. But that is what I have for the tarot cards for May 2024. I know it's hard out there, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. Above all, let's just do our best.